What is up, everyone? I recently did a video on the Fabric YouTube channel talking about the AI native data stack. And in that conversation, we talked about moving the question mark, to the data instead of always copying the data, getting the data closer to the question. Think about things like metadata sync, shortcuts, visualization, reading unnecessary data movement, all the good stuff. But Reddit pushed back. And honestly, I think the pushback was fair, because the way some of this comes across is traditional ETL is dead, or ETL is outdated. Or with AI, we don't need to do all the modeling work anymore. Are you kidding me? And if that is what people heard, yeah, I get why that will bother folks, because ETL is not just taking data and moving it to another place. That is the lazy way to describe it. In the real world, ETL is often where the hard thinking happens. It is where we clean and shape the data and transform the data, deal with messy source systems, apply business rules, and turn operational data into something the business can actually use. So no, I don't think ETL is dead, but I do think something needs to change. For years, the default answer to almost every data problem has been move the data, copy the data, then land it somewhere, a warehouse, and now a lake house, a data mart, all these different places. Then figure out what to do with it. And sometimes that is absolutely the right answer. If the source system is messy, if performance really matters to you, or if people need consistent business definition, then yes, do the work, clean it, model it, curate it, build a semantic model, make the data trustworthy. That work still matters, maybe more than ever. But here's the part I'm questioning. Should the first architectural decision always be, where do I copy this data? I don't think so. I think the first question should be this: what does this workload actually need? Because not every workload needs the same thing. A report may need a curated semantic model. An operational analytics use case may need fresher data with less movement. A data science use case may need access to detail that never belongs in a traditional star schema. You know what I'm talking about. An agentic experience may need something else entirely different. It may need context, business meaning, metadata, and most importantly, please implement guardrails. It needs to understand what the data means, what is allowed to use, and what it should never touch. That is where I think the AI native data stack conversation gets really interesting. Not because AI removes ETL, it absolutely does not. Not because AI removes modeling, it definitely does not do that. AI actually, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, it makes modeling more important, because with a traditional report, if the model is wrong, the report is wrong, and that is bad. But with an AI agent, if the model is wrong, the agent may reason from the wrong context, explain the situation incorrectly, and guess what? Recommend an action that looks reasonable, but is based on a very, very bad assumption. And once agents start helping with workflows, approvals, tickets, emails, or operational decisions, the output does not just sit on your screen anymore. It can influence what happens next. That, to me, is a different level of risk. This is why I get nervous when people talk about just connecting agents directly to source systems. Please do not do that. A messy transactional system does not magically become business ready because an agent can query it. The agent still needs to understand what the data means. It needs context. It needs trusted definitions, clear boundaries, and a way to separate what is official from what is just noise. And maybe most importantly, it needs to know when to stop and say, I don't know. I don't think AI has ever done that to me before. So maybe the line should not be ETL is dead. I think that's too spicy. Maybe the better line is ETL should not be the automatic answer. So there's three things I'm pushing back on: using the same pattern for every problem, assuming every solution needs the same layers, and copying data first, asking questions later. So sometimes the right answer is to leave the data where it is and bring the questions closer. On the other hand, sometimes the most important work is not moving the data at all. It is creating the context around the data so people, reports, and agents can use it correctly. That is the shift. More intentional architecture. So no, ETL is not dead. Modeling is not dead. The warehouse is definitely not dead. Medallion, I don't know. But the reflex of using the same pattern for every problem definitely needs to die. That was just a long rant. But if you have any questions, if you want to continue this conversation, I'll be sure to put a link to the Reddit post in the comments below. And as always, see you in the queue.